Sorry about the delay there. My camera just decided to like lose connection to the internet. Just gonna make sure this is straight. Cool. Hope you're all okay. Thank you for joining. Today we're going to be stretching shoulders and chest and a couple of hamstring stretches as well. So for your hamstring stretches, if you haven't already, you might just need to grab yourself a strap or just something that you can hook around your feet. One of the positions we're going to be coming into is, well, it's an option, you don't have to, a standing hamstring stretch. So if you can't reach your foot, you can just use something to hook around your foot to help you grab it. I've got options instead of that if that's not working for you. So don't worry if you don't have one, it's fine. We are going to start laying down, so come and find yourselves a comfortable position on your backs. If you'd like to start in Supta Baddha Konasana, you can do. So for Supta Baddha Konasana, the soles of the feet are together and the knees just fall down towards the mat. It does get quite an intense stretch on the hip, so if it does get too much, you can just bring the knees up at any point. So when you found a comfortable position on your back, start to close the eyes. And just start to let your body settle into the mat. Start to slow the breath down. Take a couple of breaths in, so take a big inhale in through the nose. And a big exhale out through the mouth. We'll do one more like that. Big inhale in through the nose. And exhale, sighing it out through the mouth. Take any movements, any adjustments you want to take here just to bring out a little bit of tension, maybe in the wrists, maybe in the neck, rock the head from side to side, maybe give the shoulders a little shrug, the ankles a little circle. Just take any last adjustments you need to take before we start to find a little bit of stillness before we start moving again. So just give yourself a quick body scan, as we always do at the beginning, just to check in with your body, noticing how you're feeling today. Noticing any areas that feel a little bit tense, a little bit tight, if there are any. And just checking in, so try not to change anything just yet, just observing. And we'll start to settle the body down, so start to soften the forehead, relaxing the little muscles in between the eyebrows, relaxing the jaw, softening the jaw, so maybe you were clenching your jaw without realising. Allowing the shoulders to feel heavy. Releasing any tension from the shoulders. Let the hands and the feet be heavy. And just start to notice the breath moving around the body. So you don't need to change it just yet. Just start to observe the inhales and the exhales and the length of the breath, any sounds associated with the breath. Maybe you can notice the temperature of the air as it comes in through the nostrils. And just noticing in your body any sensations that come along with the breath. So if you have a rise of the belly, maybe a rise of the chest, maybe a slight rise of the shoulders on the inhales. And any sensations with the exhales as well. So maybe you've got a slight softening of the shoulders. Maybe you can feel it more in the chest, in the belly. Just observing the way the breath moves around the body. And in your own time, we'll start to lengthen the breath. So making those inhales longer, taking bigger breaths in. And the exhales become even deeper, so really big exhales back out through the nose. Start to feel the lips if you had them open. So really think about filling up the belly with air, filling up the chest. And exhale and let it all go. Every last drop of air comes back out the body. With your exhales, maybe coming back to those areas of the body that you could sense that little bit of tightness, maybe you feel that you were gripping somewhere. See if you can bring a bit of softness to those areas. Your inhales are there to make you feel energized, lengthen the spine, fill up the belly, and your exhales are there to bring a softening, a sense of relaxation. So see if you can stay here with this long, slow breath for another five rounds of breath. So trying to equalize the length of the breaths and the length of the inhales and the length of the exhales. So both the inhales and the exhales become the same length. If it helps, you can count the breath, so maybe counting in 4s or 5s or 6s. Just trying to find a rhythm of breath that you can stick with and that you can come back to in the practice tonight when we get into some of those more challenging stretches. See if you can take these next 3 breaths, make them the longest ones, so really filling up the belly, maybe holding it slightly at the top before you start to exhale, and again at the bottom of the exhale, maybe holding it for a count before you take that next inhale. Take one more full inhale in through the nose. And as you exhale, just start to wake the body up, wiggle fingers. If you had the knees open, just place your hands alongside the legs and use your hands to guide the knees up. We'll take a long pencil stretch whenever you're ready, so take the legs out long, bring the hands up and overhead, really stretch the fingers, point the toes. Start to draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a little hug, hooking the hands around the shins, and then just gently rock from side to side on the spine. So just bringing a tiny little bit of movement into the spine here, massaging the back into the mat. You can either keep your eyes closed or just start to blink the eyes open. We're going to start to wake up the hamstrings. So place the right sole of the foot flat down onto the mat. You might need your strap at hand. If not, don't worry. We're going to extend the left leg up and then flex the toes back. So the toes are pointing back towards our face. Your leg might be over here, it might be bent, anywhere is fine, as long as you can feel a sensation at the back of that left leg. So your hands can either stay behind the left leg, they can come up a little bit higher and take hold of the shin, the calf, or if you are super flexible, you can take the hands and grab hold of the foot, maybe the 2 piece fingers take hold of the inside of that left foot, that left toe. Just remember, we're still warming up, so don't force anything yet. Just a gentle stretch here is what we're looking for. Think about keeping the abdominal muscles engaged, so the belly button pulls backwards down towards the mat. Press the hips down into the mat as well, so it's quite easy in this position to let the bum rise up, but try and keep the bum, the hips anchored down into the mat. Stay connected with that breath. Notice if you've lost that connection. If you have, just bring back those long inhales and those long exhales. Slowly start to release that left leg. Bring the left foot all the way down towards the mat. Hook the right knee into the chest. Place the left hand onto the outside of the right knee, and then just use that right hand to guide the right knee, all the way down to the left. The right arm is then going to come out to a T position or a cactus shape. And just take a little twist here. So we're relaxing into the lower back and getting a little bit of a stretch in the thoracic spine right at the top of the back. Maybe a stretch down that right hip as well. Tuning back in with that breath, slowing the inhales down and slowing the exhales down. Slowly start to make your way back onto your back. Keep the right knee where it is, so hug the right knee into the chest and just start to hover the left heel off the mat. We're going to wake up the abdominal muscles, so just start to lift up the chest off the mat. Bring the arms alongside that right knee. You should start to feel this turning on already. Take an inhale here, lift the chest up a little bit higher. And as you exhale, switch legs, so the right leg extends, the left knee comes in. Inhale, reach the right knee in, extend the left leg out. And as you exhale, switch legs again, left knee comes in, right leg comes out. So just start to move here in your own time with your own breath. Don't worry about being in time with me. If it gets a little bit too much on the neck, just place the fingertips behind the neck. Try not to apply too much pressure here, so try to use your arms to lift yourself up. Your head is just gently resting onto the fingertips. Keep the elbows pressed backwards. Keep breathing. We'll stay here for another 5, 4, lift the chest up higher. 3, 2, and 1. Bring the right knee into the chest and drop that left knee down. We're going to rock up from here into a seated position, so keep the interlace along that right shin. Use the strength in the abdominal muscles. You might need to rock forwards a couple of times to pull yourself up to a seated position. So keep that right knee in and keep that left leg extended out long. You might need to micro bend that left leg if there's any tension in that left hamstring. If not, try and keep it as long as you can. Place your left hand onto the outside of the right knee. Find a nice length in the spine, so send the crown of the head up towards the sky. And then just twist your right shoulder backwards towards the back of the room. You can either stay here or left hand comes onto the outside of the right foot and start to extend that right leg out long. The right arm is then going to come out to a T position, so you're finding this twist in the upper back. Try not to collapse into that lower spine. Keep sitting up really nice and tall. Really send the chest forward. You're trying to sit right up onto the sit bones. If you want to grab your strap and hook your strap around the foot, you can do. Keep breathing here. Take one more full inhale. See if you can sit up a little bit higher. And as you exhale, we're going to switch sides. So the right hand comes onto the inside of the right leg. The left arm extends backwards. You can do this with the right knee bent. Just place your right hand onto that right knee. The main thing to think about is finding that twist at the top of the spine and extending that left arm out so it brings that stretch into the front of the chest. Think about sending the crown of the head up towards the sky. Try not to sink into that lower back. Keep that right leg as active as you can, so draw the quads in, really activate that right quad. Find one more inhale here. And as you exhale, coming back through to the centre, drop that right foot down if you had it lifted. We're going to go down the way we came up, so interlace the hands along that right shin. Just start to hover the right foot off the ground. We're going to lower down one vertebrae at a time, moving slowly with control, so the lower back meets, and then the middle back, and then the shoulders, and then finally the head comes down towards the mat. Hug the knees into the chest, give yourself a little hug, rocking on the mat from side to side, and we will switch sides. So place the left sole of the foot flat down onto the mat and extend that right leg out long. Again, same options here, either hold the back of the leg with the hands, hold behind the calf, option to hold the foot or take the 2-piece fingers onto the inside of that right big toe. You can grab a strap if you want to get into that right hamstring. It's fine to keep a bend in that knee as long as you can feel that sensation at the back of the leg. It's also fine to have your leg quite far away. Everyone will feel it differently here, so it doesn't matter where you are. Try and keep that core activated. Really squeeze the abdominal muscles and press the bum down into the mat. So try not to let the hips rise up. Keep anchoring the hips down into the mat. We'll hold it here for another 3. So stay connected with that breath. 2 and 1. Slowly lower the right leg all the way down towards the mat. Bring the left knee into the chest. Right hand onto the outside of the left knee, and then use that right hand to guide the left leg all the way down to the right, and bring that left arm out to a T position or a cactus shape, bending at the elbow, just depending on how much room you've got. If there's not enough room to extend the arm out, just keep that left arm down by your side. So you might find that that left knee starts to rise up when you drop that left arm down. That's absolutely fine. The main thing to think about here is finding some softness in that left shoulder. Just notice where you can feel this stretch. So maybe you can feel it in the hip, maybe you can feel it in the upper back, across the chest. Tuning back in with the slow breath. So big inhales in through the nose and big exhales back out through the nose. Slowly make your way back onto your back. Keep the left knee where it is. Extend the right foot out long and then just hover that right heel about an inch off the mat. Start to lift the chest up off the mat and bring the hands out alongside that left leg. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, bring the right knee in, extend the left leg out long. Inhale to swap sides, left knee in, right leg out long. And then we'll just keep moving here with the breath. If you want to make it a little bit harder, we can start to straighten the legs here. So start to keep both legs straight. This is going to get into those hamstrings. Keep lifting up the chest. You can use the fingers behind the head if it's starting to pull the neck, but try not to use your arms to pull up your chest. Keep pressing the elbows back. Holding it here for another 5. Try not to speed it up. 4. Keep breathing. 3. 2. Lift the chest up higher. And 1. This time keep hold of the left leg and extend. Nope, keep hold of the right leg and extend that left leg out long. So we're going to move back up into that seated position. So use your abdominal strength. Interlace the hands along that right shin. Maybe rocking a couple of times until you found that momentum to pull you up to a seated position. So we're on the wrong leg. Bring the left knee in. Extend the right leg out long. The right hand is going to come onto the outside of that left leg and then extend the left arm backwards. Option to stay here. Or right hand comes onto the outside of that left leg and then start to straighten that left leg as much as you can. You might need to keep a micro bend in that left knee. You might also want to grab a strap or something to hook around that left foot. So think about drawing this left shoulder away from the ear. It's quite easy to bring it up towards the ear, but we want to send it down and back. Keep sitting up nice and tall. Try not to lean backwards. Keep sitting up really tall. Send the crown of the head up towards the sky. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, we're going to switch sides. So the left hand can come onto the inside of the left foot. Extend that left leg out and reach the right arm backwards. Option, keep that left leg bent and just twist over to face the right hand side. Keep breathing here, sitting up really nice and tall. Holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Release that left leg down. Keep the hands interlaced on that left leg. We're going to go down the way we came up again. So start to hover that left foot off the mat. Lowering down slowly with control, 1 vertebrae at a time. Try not to dump into that lower back. And then when you get there, hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little hug. We're going to make our way from here into a tabletop position, so it's up to you whether you use your hands and knees to get there. Or, if you want to come with me, place the hands behind the legs. Just rock and roll a couple of times, 2 or 3 times on the spine, forwards and backwards. Enough times until you've found that momentum to bring you all the way up. Swing the legs around and find yourself on all 4s. So just set up your foundations here. The hands are underneath the shoulders. The knees are as wide as the hips. The toes can be tucked or untucked. Just go with whichever feels best for your knees. We'll start to warm up the spine with some cat-cows. So with your inhale, drop the belly down, send the chest forward and push the sit bones backwards. As you exhale, start to round across the spine, dawn between the shoulder blades, and just let the head be heavy. Inhaling to find that arch in the spine. And exhaling to find a roundness, really pressing the hands into the mat, let the head relax. Just keep working with this in your own time. Every inhale, arching the spine, sending the chest forward. And with every exhale, really find that roundness in between the shoulder blades. If you want to, you can close your eyes here. We'll take 3 more full rounds in your own time, so it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you're going, just try and be in time with the breath, so allow the breath to lead the movement. And when you've done all three, we will meet in a neutral spine. We'll make our way up to our first downward facing dog. So the toes tuck under, send the hips all the way up and back into your downward facing dog. Just take a couple of movements in this first one, so bending one knee, bending the other knee. Just check that you've got your alignment set up here as well, so the hands are as wide as the shoulders. The hands are spread wide, so it's quite easy when you get into your downward facing dog to start gripping the mat, but really spread the fingers out wide. If there's any tension in the shoulders, if you feel like your shoulders are coming quite up towards your ears, just make your hands a little bit wider and turn them out slightly. If the back is rounding, just bend the knees and send the bum up. It's more important to have a straight spine in this position than to bring the heels down. If your downward dog gets too much at any point, knees come out wide, feet come together, and we take a child's position. So start to find some stillness in your downward facing dog. We're going to walk the hands backwards towards the feet at the back of the mat. Really bend the knees and just hang out in your ragdoll position. So the knees are bent enough so that the chest can rest on the thighs. The head and the hands are heavy. And just start to rock gently from side to side. If you want to, you can take hold of opposite elbow and just start to rock forwards and backwards, left to right. Give the head a little nod, a little shake. And then we'll drop the hands down into the centre of the mat and start to find some stillness. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. The head and the shoulders are the last thing to come up. Ensure that you've got your abdominal strength turned on the whole time, so keep pulling that belly button back towards the spine to protect the lower back. The head is the last thing that comes up to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, reach the hands up, keep squeezing your bum as you reach your hands up, and as you exhale, bring the hands down towards the mat, walk forwards into your plank position. We'll hold it here in this top plank. If your lower back is collapsing, drop the knees down onto the mat. Press the heels backwards, so push the weight back through the heels. Dome between the shoulders, really press the hands into the mat. Keep your gaze towards the front of the mat to lengthen that cervical spine, the top of the neck. We'll hold it here for another 5. Keep breathing. 4, 3, 2. Try not to drop the knees down if you had them lifted. We're going to lift the right toes an inch off the mat, so a tiny bit off the mat. Try and keep the shoulders stacked and the hips stacked. We'll hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Swap sides, the left tip toes are coming a centimetre, tiny little bit off the mat. Try and keep the hips and the shoulders square, so try not to rock from side to side. Hold it here for another 3. Try not to lift that leg up high either, keep it really low. 2, and 1. Drop both feet down, drop the knees down. Keep the elbows tucked in as you lower the hips and chest down to the mat at the same time. Untuck the toes. Shuffle the forearms forward. Press into the mat with the forearms and just lift up the chest. So this is going to stretch off the abdominal work that we've just done and all across the front of the body. Keep squeezing your booty, keep squeezing the bum, and press the backs of the feet down into the mat. Shoulders are moving down away from the ears. Take one full inhale. And as you exhale, lower the chest down towards the mat. Bring the hands in alongside the shoulders. We are going to press up into a plank position. So tuck the toes, lift the thighs, screw the elbows in without rippling the body up. Press up in one full stack and then send the hips up into your downward facing dog. Checking in with your alignment. Feet are hip width, if not wider. And the hands are shoulder width, maybe a little bit wider if you're finding that your shoulders are coming up to your ears. Give the head a little nod, a little shake, let the head be heavy here. Really activate the quads, so try and draw the quads upwards. And think about sending the chest back towards the thighs. Take one more big inhale here. And as you exhale, bring the knees down towards the mat. So you're in your tabletop position. We're going to move into puppy dog stretch. So be puppy dog stretch. Keep the bum up high. really push the bum up into the air. Just start to walk your hands forward, down onto the mat. Your head and your chest are going to come downwards. So if you want to grab a blanket, or if you've got a book nearby, it can be quite nice to rest your head on a blanket or a book or a cushion. If your head meets the mat, then that's great. You can rest your head on the mat. If not, you just come down as close as you can towards the mat. And think about spreading the shoulders away from the ears. So you should be able to feel this stretch in the shoulder blades. To make it harder, think about pulling the hands towards you. You might just need to have a play around with you positioning of your arms in this one. If you can't feel anything, maybe drop the forearms down towards the mat and really spread the shoulders away from the ears. Slowing the breath down here. Keep that abdominal turned on as well. Belly button pulls back towards the spine. Staying here for one more full inhale. As you exhale, walk the hands backwards and then make your way into your tabletop position and then push the bum up into your downward facing dog. Taking 3 big breaths here. Head is heavy, the spine is nice and long, the quads are engaged, so really activate those legs. Option 2, do this from your downward dog or your tabletop position. We're going to inhale and lift the right leg up, 3-legged dog. As you exhale, sweep the right knee towards the right elbow, as close towards that right elbow as you can, maybe up towards the armpit, and then drop the right foot alongside the right hand at the front of the mat. You might need to use that right hand to guide it through to the front of the mat. Option to keep that left knee lifted or drop the left knee down. With an inhale, come all the way up into your crescent lunge. So we're going to hold it here in this crescent lunge. First thing to think about is the sensation of this left hip flexor. So really squeeze your bum, tuck the sit bones under, like you're trying to thrust your pelvis forward. Glutes are engaged and you should feel the sensation at the front of that left hip. What we're going to do then, start to get some shoulders involved. So interlace the hands, push the ground away, and then bring the hands up and overhead. If this is too much on the wrists, keep the back of the hands facing upwards. Alternative option, if this isn't working for you, bring the hands out wide, turn the thumbs down, and then press the arms backwards. If you're in this upright position, think about pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Core is active, so this area is really tight. We're not arching to that lower back. You want to think about getting your head through the arms. So try and send the arms back past the ears. Keep breathing here. If you've got the arms up, think about pressing the hands up towards the sky. Take one more full breath. And as you exhale, release the hands, drop the left knee down and bring both hands onto the inside of the right foot. Shuffle the right foot across to the right, finding a modified version of a lizard stretch. So there is the option to stay here. Or start to bend the left leg and catch hold of that left foot either with the right hand, so you're twisting, or with the left hand. If you've got a strap, hook the strap around that foot and use that strap to guide the left heel towards the bum. You want to feel this stretch at the front of that left hip flexor and also into that right hip as well. If it's too much on your left knee, you can just leave that left foot down, maybe just shuffle the left foot backwards a little bit more so it brings that sensation to the front of that left hip. Keep squeezing your bum. Keep breathing. We'll hold it here for another 2 breaths. So big inhales in through the nose. Big exhales back out through the nose. And then slowly start to make your way out of it. So shuffle, let go of that left foot if you had that left foot lifted. And then start to shuffle the right foot into the center of the mat. We're going to make our way into a plank position from here. So tuck the left toes, lift that left leg. Step the right foot back to meet the left foot at the back of the mat. Push the hips up, downward facing dog. Same thing on the other side. Drop to all fours if you need. Inhale, lift up the left leg, three-legged dog. As you exhale, left knee sweeps towards the left elbow. Maybe the left armpit if you can get it that high. We're then going to drop the left foot down alongside the left hand at the front of the mat. Use that left hand to sweep it through if you need. Either keeping the right knee lifted or dropping the right knee down. Press into the left foot, take an inhale, coming all the way up, crescent lunge. So in your crescent lunge, squeeze the bum, thrust the hips forward and get that stretch in that right hip flexor. From here, either interlace the fingers, send the hands up overhead, trying to get the arms past the ears. Option, if that's too much on the wrist, keep the back of the hand facing up towards the ceiling. Alternatively, bring the hands out wide, turn the thumbs down, and then send the hands backwards. So it's almost like you're trying to get the fingertips to meet behind your back. They won't touch each other, but you want to get that sensation of pulling the hands backwards. If your hands are up overhead, think about this core activation, keep everything really tight. It's quite easy to let the back arch when we're coming up like this, but pull the hips forward, belly button pulls backwards. Keep breathing, holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Release the hands, bring the right knee down towards the mat. Shuffle the left foot across to the left, and then bring both hands down onto the inside of that left foot. Finding your lizard stretch, so this might be enough. If you want a little bit more, then you can bend the right leg, catch hold of the right leg with the left hand, or catch hold of the right leg with the right hand, or grab a strap, anything that you need to catch hold of that right foot. If it's too much on the knee, then just drop that right foot down, shuffle the right leg back a little bit more, and just make sure that you can feel that stretch in that right hip flexor at the front of the right hip. Finding your breath again here. So really start to slow the breath down. If we can work with slow breath, it'll make the intense positions like this one feel a little bit comfier. Keep squeezing your bum. And we'll start to make our way out of this position. So release that right foot if you had it lifted. Shuffle the left foot back to the center of the mat. Both hands are framing that left foot. We tuck the right toes, we lift the right knee, and then we step the left foot back to meet the right foot at the back of the mat. In your plank position, hips are moving up, downward facing dog. We'll take 5 breaths here, so it's up to you whether you stay in your downward dog or whether you come into a child's position. Really slow the breath down. Inhaling in through the nose. Exhaling out through the mouth if you feel warm. Spread the shoulders away from the ears. Chest moves back towards the thighs. If you were in your child's pose, make your way into a downward facing dog. Looking in between the hands, coming up onto the tiptoes, bend the knees, tiptoe, step, hop, walk, jump, fly, whatever you want to do. Make your way in between your hands at the front of the mat. When we get there, come up halfway, take an inhale. So for your halfway lift, fingertips can be on the floor, shins or thighs. Just make sure you've got a nice straight spine. As you exhale, forward fold, take the stretch a little bit deeper. Either keep the hands on the legs or bring the hands behind the legs. With an inhale, bend the knees, coming all the way up to standing. Exhale, going straight back down. Bring the fingertips down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips, shins or thighs. This time as you exhale, take a really long lunge back with the right leg. And then we will inhale, coming all the way up into your crescent lunge. So this time we're going to take an interlace behind the back. So interlace the fingers and then press the ground. Press the hands down towards the ground. If this is too much, bring the hands back behind and imagine you're trying to squeeze a big beach ball behind your back to really activate the arms. If you've got the interlace, draw the shoulders away from the ears and again, try not to arch the spine. Keep everything really tight in this midline area. Think about lifting the arms up, and this will bring that stretch into the chest and the shoulders. If that right leg's lifted, keep that right leg really active. You can drop that right knee down whenever you need. Take one more full breath wherever you are. Slowly release the hands, bring the hands back towards the hips. We're going to place the right hand down onto the mat and then lift that left arm up into your twisted position. Again, you can drop that right knee down if you want to here. Take 3 big arm circles with that left arm. It doesn't matter which direction you go in. Just make the circles as big as you can. So really reaching that arm forwards and then sending it backwards. Really moving into that shoulder joint. And then when you've done all 3, keep that left arm lifted up towards the sky. We're moving from here into an upright twist, so press into the left foot. Start to hover your right fingertips off the mat, so really use that abdominal strength here. We're going to come all the way up into your awkward twist, twisting over that left leg. Arms are spread wide. Inhale, bring the hands all the way up. And as you exhale, we're going to interlace the hands behind the back again. Press the ground, press the hands down towards the ground. You can keep the right knee lifted or drop the right knee down. Moving from here into humble warrior. So for your humble warrior, take all of the weight forwards into that left leg, bring the arms up and overhead, and try and shuffle the left shoulder and the inside of that left leg. If this is a little bit hard with the balance, then you can drop that right foot down at a 45-degree angle so that right heel is flat down on the mat. Again, if it's too much with the interlace, you can keep the hands back behind like you're holding that big beach ball. We'll hold it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Press into the left foot, come all the way up, through to standing. See if you can keep the interlace now. If you had that right heel lowered, come back onto the tiptoe of that right foot. We're going to move into a warrior 3. So take all of your weight into that left leg, keep the chest lifted, hover the right foot off the mat and find your balance in your warrior 3. If the bind is getting uncomfortable, try and stick with it, but if it's becoming painful, just bring the hands onto the hips. Find your balance by looking at something still. Really activate both legs, flex that back foot, core is strong. We're breathing. If you had that interlace with the hands, just release that now. We're all going to bring our hands up overhead without putting that right foot down. Sweep the right knee up towards the chest, as high up towards the chest as you can. Now we're going to place the left hand onto the outside of that right knee and bring the right arm all the way back behind, looking over the right arm, if you can, to test your balance. If you want a little bit more, place the left hand onto the outside of the right foot and start to lift up the chest. You can stay here or start to extend that right foot out forwards, lifting up the chest, twisting over that right hand, legs are active, spine is nice and long, holding it here for 3, 2, and 1. Going down the way we came up. Bend to the right knee. Release the left hand onto the right knee and then bring both hands onto the hips. Cross the right leg behind that left foot. So the right foot is crossed behind the left. Inhale, lift the left arm up. And as you exhale, reach that left arm all the way over to the right, stretching down that left side of the body. Keep the right hand on the hip. Keep that core turned on, bum squeezing. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, forward fold, keeping the feet crossed, bring the hands down towards the mat. Try and get the pinky toes in line together, so the pinky toes want to be as close together as you can. You can keep a micro bend in the knees here if you need. So feel that stretch down the hamstrings. With an inhale, come up halfway, lengthen up the spine. As you exhale, forward fold. A little bit deeper with that stretch. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the heart center and uncross the legs. Take an inhale, come all the way up to standing. with the hands up overhead. As you exhale, forward fold, fingertips come down towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. This time as you exhale, big step back with the left leg. Step that left leg back as far as you can. Option, keep that left knee lifted, or drop the left knee down with an inhale, bringing the hands up, overhead, into your crescent lunge. So we're going to go into that interlace behind the back again. Option 1, interlace the fingers. Try and interlace them the other way around this time, so the other thumb is on the top. It'll feel a little bit weird. If this isn't an option for you, bring the hands back behind. Imagine you've got that massive beach ball again that you're trying to squeeze together behind your back. All your frustration of not being able to go on holiday, take it into that ball. Lift up the chest, lift up the arms if you can. Keep that core nice and tight. One more inhale here. And as you exhale, release the bind. Left hand comes down towards the mat. Reach the right arm up towards the sky. You can drop that left knee down if you need. Taking those big arm circles with that right arm. Doesn't matter which direction you go in. Just make them as big as you can. So really moving into that whole shoulder joint. Try and stay connected with the breath. Try not to hold the breath as you do this movement. When you've done all three, reach the right arm up towards the sky. Moving up into our awkward twist. Take all of the weight into the right leg. Start to hover the left fingertips off the mat. Press into that right foot coming up into your twisted lunge. Again, you can keep that left knee down or lift up that left leg. Inhale, bring both arms up to the sky. As you exhale, either interlacing the hands behind the back, again going for that opposite direction so the other thumb is on top, or grabbing that big beach ball. You can drop the left heel down at a 45-degree angle. Take an inhale to lift up the chest. As you exhale, humble warrior, folding forwards over that right leg. If you can, try and shuffle the right shoulder onto the inside of that right knee. If you've got the interlace, try and bring the arms up overhead, really stretching the shoulders, stretching the chest. Keep breathing, try and square off the hips, so try not to let that left hip track backwards. You want to keep both hips square, facing the front of the mat. With an inhale, press into that right foot, come all the way up through to center. If you have that left heel down, lift that left heel up. Try and keep the interlace if you can. Take all of the weight into the right leg. Take off into your warrior 3. Left leg lifts up. Finding your balance. Find something still. Really activate the legs. Flex the left foot. The core is strong. We're breathing. We might be falling, but then we come back into it. Holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Release the bind if you had it. Bring the arms up overhead without dropping that left leg down. Bring that left leg all the way up towards the chest, as high up towards the chest as you can. And now the fun begins. Right hand onto the outside of that left leg. Left hand comes all the way back. Option to stay here. Or if you want a little bit more, then you can take hold of the outside of that left foot with the right hand. You can stay here and just work on lengthening the spine, finding your balance, or start to extend that left leg forward, as straight as you can. Lengthen up the spine. My balance is gone. If you want to use a strap, you can do. So you're hooking that strap around that left foot, holding it here for another 3, 2, and 1. Coming down the way we came up, bend that left knee. Place the left hand onto the hip, right hand onto the hip, and then cross that left foot behind the right foot, bringing your pinky toes together as much as you can. With an inhale, reach the right arm up. As you exhale, reach the right hand over towards the left. Find that stretch down the right side of the body. Inhale, come all the way up through center. As you exhale, forward fold, fingertips come down towards the feet. Grabbing onto your shins, your thighs, anything you can hold onto here. Just make sure that your spine is nice and long, so try to round in the spine. Lead with the chest. Take one more breath. And with your inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, take one last fold. See if you can go a little bit deeper with that length in the spine. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands come together at the heart centre and we uncross the legs. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. Give the shoulders a little bit of a roll. Last little bit before we take a seat. Take an inhale. Lift the hands all the way up. As you exhale, bring the hands down towards the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, place both hands down onto the mat. Step or jump back to a plank position. Hips and chest lower down to the mat at the same time. Keep the elbows screwed in. Untuck the toes. Inhale to lift up the chest, either coming onto the forearms or upward facing dog. Hands are flat onto the mat. Keep the elbows, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, bring the chest down towards the mat and hold it here. So we're going to take a little stretch for the chest. So for our chest stretch, bring your arms into a diamond shape so both elbows are bent. You might need to have a play around with the position of the arms in this one. Bring your left hand, left fingertips to the left side of your body. We're going to use the left hand to push us over onto our right side until you can feel that stretch in the right chest. So you might need to adjust that right arm, maybe move the elbow forwards a little bit, maybe move the hand a little bit more further away. And eventually you'll find that sticky area where you can feel that stretch in that right chest. If you want a little bit more, lift up the left leg. Just take that left tiptoes behind your back. See if you can connect back into that breath that we had at the beginning of the class. So those slow inhales and those slow exhales. Your pulse might be a little bit higher, your heart rate might have got a little bit higher, so really see if you can connect back into that slow breath. And take one more breath here. And then slowly roll back onto your belly. And we will swap sides. So left arm comes into that triangle, diamond kind of position. Right fingertips come alongside the right shoulder. And then just use the right hand to press you onto your left side until you can feel that stretch on the left chest. If you want more, bring the right tiptoes just behind that left leg. Again, you can have a play around with the position of this left arm until you can feel that stretch across the front of the chest. Slowing the breath down here. Take one more full inhale. And as you exhale, rolling onto your belly. Press the hands into the mat, tuck the toes. We're going to make our way into a plank position, so keep everything stacked. Try not to ripple the body, coming up strong, and then send the hips up and back into your final downward facing dog. If you want to take a child's pose, you can take a child's pose. If you want to stay in downward dog, then you can stay in your downward dog. Give the head a little shake, a little nod, shoulders move away from the ears. Try and send the chest back towards the thighs. Slowing the breath down again. Big inhales in through the nose. Big exhales out through the nose. We're going to make our way into a seat, so you can either drop the knees down and just swing the legs around, or if you want to have a go at hopping, you can do. If you want to hop, come up onto the tiptoes, bend the knees, look in between your hands, and then gracefully spring the feet in between the hands and take a seat. We've got one last straddle stretch before we come down onto our back. So take the legs out wide as you can. Sit up nice and tall. If you need to, you can pop a blanket, pillow underneath your bum, especially if you feel like you're collapsing into the lower back. Just place something underneath your bum to give yourself a little bit of elevation. You can bend the knees if you need. Wherever you are, inhale, sit up nice and tall. This might be enough of a stretch. If not, as you exhale, start to fold forwards towards the floor. Either keeping your hands on the mat and just walking your hands forward. Maybe the forearms come down. Maybe if you're super flexible, your chest comes down to the mat. Think about the feet. So try not to let the feet turn inwards. Keep pressing the feet out. You'll get this external rotation in the femur then, so you're trying to roll the thighs backwards without letting them collapse in. Slowing the breath down here. Big inhales in through the nose. Big exhales back out through the nose. Maybe closing the eyes. If this starts to pull the lower back, just come up out of it a little bit more. We don't really want to stretch the lower back, we want to strengthen the lower back. The main thing we're stretching here is the hamstrings and the inside of the legs. Take one more inhale in through the nose. And as you exhale, just start to walk the hands back towards your legs. Place the hands underneath the legs and use the hands to bring the knees up to the center. Place the soles of the feet flat onto the mat. We're going down onto our backs. Bring the hands alongside the legs. Lowering down slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Taking your time to get there. Try not to dump into the mat. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Finally, the chest and shoulders come down towards the mat. Bring the knees into the chest. We've got a couple of back bends to finish off with. So first option is a glute bridge. So we're all going to do a glute bridge to start with. Place the soles of the feet flat onto the mat. Bring your heels as close towards your bum as you can. And then take the feet as wide as the hips. So your feet don't want to be any wider than your hips. They don't want to be any narrower than the hips. They want to be as wide as the hips. Keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. So just try and follow my instructions rather than trying to look at the screen. Your hands are down by the side. With your next inhale, press your feet into the mat and start to lift your hips up off the mat. Maybe your back starts to come up and maybe your chest starts to lift as well. Option from here, start to shuffle the shoulder blades together and try and bring the hands together in that interlaced position behind your back, and then you can start to use the hands to press down into the mat to lift the hips and the chest up a little bit more. Really squeeze your bum as always. Core is active here as well. Keep breathing. Activate the legs, so think about trying to draw the knees together without letting them touch. So your knees don't want to collapse in, but you want to get that sensation of squeezing the knees together. Keep breathing here for another 3. Lift the hips up higher. 2, even higher. And 1. Release the interlace, shuffle the shoulders apart. Lowering down onto your backs, 1 vertebrae at a time. Keep the legs as they are. We've got one final back bend to finish off with. You can either do exactly what we've just done, or if you want to have a go at Urdhva Dhanurasana, full wheel crab, bring the hands behind the head so the fingertips are pointing towards your shoulders. From here, we're going to press into the hands to lift the hips and the chest up off the mat. Even if a tiny little bit of skin comes off, that's a good way of working up that strength to finally get you to be able to press up into that full wheel position. So wherever you are, if you're doing your glute bridge or if you're doing your full crab pose, take an inhale, 2, and exhale. And as you inhale, press the feet and the hands into the mat, lift up the hips, lift up the chest, and take 5 breaths wherever you are. So count your own breaths. If you're in your crab position, try and send the chest forward. So your chest is trying to move forward past the arms. Whenever you want to come down from your wheel, tuck the chin into the chest and lower down onto the shoulders. If you're in your glute bridge, see if you can lift the hips up higher. Really squeeze the butt. Keep breathing wherever you are. When you've done all 5 breaths, make your way back down onto your backs. And we'll just start to release the lower spine, rock the knees from side to side. So we're windscreen wiping the legs from one direction and then the other direction. If there's any other movements you want to take here, just to release that lower spine, you can do. We're all going to hug the knees into the chest, make yourself into a little ball. Again, if there's any final movements you want to take, feel free to do those. If not, we're all going to take a happy baby. So knees come out wide, arms come on the inside of the legs, catch hold of the outside of the feet, the ankles, the shins. And you can either stay still here or start to rock from side to side. Think about pressing the lower back down into the mat. In your own time, find your Shavasana. So for your Shavasana, legs can come out long. You can bend the knees, have the soles of the feet flat onto the mat. If you liked that hip stretch we did at the beginning, you can have the feet together, knees come down to the side. Your arms can either just hang out by the side of your body, they can come onto your belly, or if you want to finish with a passive stretch for the chest, just bring the arms into a cactus position so the elbows are bent until you can feel a little stretch at the front of the body. Grab any extra layers, any blankets, any jumpers, any pillows, light any candles, make yourself feel comfortable. And when you've found that comfortable position, take a big inhale in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. Do that one more time, inhaling in through the nose. Exhale, sigh out the mouth. And just start to let the body relax. Close the eyes if you haven't done already. And we'll just do that body scan we did at the beginning. So just checking in with the body all the way from the head through to the toes. Notice any sensations anywhere that feels a bit warmer, any tingling, any pulse maybe somewhere. Maybe those areas that felt a little bit tight at the beginning seem to have softened a little bit, maybe not. There's no problem if not. Start to let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. And just let the body completely melt into the mat. Just start to notice if the mind had started to wander off, and if it had, bring it back into your body, checking in with the body, noticing the breath. And we'll start to wake the body up, so wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe rocking the head from side to side, just finding any gentle movements. Taking a long pencil stretch, hands come up overhead, point the toes, stretch the legs. And we'll start to wake the body up, so wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe rocking the head from side to side, just finding any gentle movements. Taking a long pencil stretch, hands come up overhead, point the toes, stretch the legs. And we'll start to wake the body up, so wiggling fingers, wiggling toes, maybe rocking the head from side to side, just finding any gentle movements. Taking a long pencil stretch, hands come up overhead, point the toes, stretch the legs. And then slowly making your way into a fetal position. So bring the knees into the chest and then rock either onto your left side or your right side, finding yourself in a little fetal position, using that bottom arm as a cushion. From here, take your time to make your way up to a comfortable seated position, either keeping the eyes soft or the gaze lowered. Sitting on your knees or crossing the legs, wherever you are. Try and find a nice long spine. Send the crown of the head up towards the sky. Ensure that the shoulders are down, away from the ears, and bring the hands together at the heart center. Press the palms together. Drop the chin down to the chest. Thanking yourself for taking an hour out of your Wednesday evening to come and practice, and for your body for being strong and capable. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of Wednesday, fabulous week. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Thank you so much, guys. Let me know if you've got any questions. It was great to have you. Hope you all take care. Bye.